Howdy folks, Corbalt here. Today I'm going to give you a bit of a tour of an arc build I have on Survival Evolved on Ragnarok. So we're here today on Ragnarok and we're going to take a tour of this castle right here. So to start with, this castle is located right in this little valley over here. You can see it's in the main valley, which you should be familiar with. And this castle is something I built on a live server, but this one here is a recreation just for the fun of it, in order to preserve it and all of its joys and the sheer amount of time I spent in this castle. We'll start with the main entrance. See, we have a bunch of stairs leading up to the main doors. A bunch of watchtowers here. And a couple turrets in case any dinos decide to climb up the ramp. And a nice little welcome airlock style doors. Easy to be customized. And the main hall. See here we have quite a lot going in, including a guard to welcome us to the main hall. Bunch of decorations that we can customize here, including a nice fancy jerboa. We've also got a nice little display of some of the more interesting dinos we've come across on this this map here. We've got a little tech raptor. Got some fun colors from all the various events and so forth, including a rather pink Argy, as well as a rather green Argy. Also got a couple wolves and these nice little turrets out over here. A couple Rexes, deer, and don't mind the bear sticking to the floor, but we got a nice Yudi here as well. And yes, there are a couple mods. One of the mods here is Eco's Decor. You'll see a lot of these types of plants as a result of them. This is the main entrance, but we'll start with the bottom floor. Something I did on this build was to have a false main floor where the actual foundations were raised up one level. This allowed me to run the electrical lines without having to run into a lot of the main areas, as well as have a bunch of water reservoir tanks, should they ever be needed, in order to keep all the plants in the greenhouses active for quite some period of time. You can see here there's all the electrical has been built in and mapped out through most of the floor, so we can go up and across anywhere we need to, and even a nice little bath if we want. One of the things we did building this was have the water intake right over here and underneath the greenhouse and the landing pad, which we'll see in a minute. But this is where all the water comes in. We have a couple pipes here just to make sure we have water. The common feature in most of my builds back in Survival Evolved, when we needed to have a place to hide all the infrastructure, and this was definitely one of them. This is one of the Eco Decor's crafting objects. We won't go into too much detail on that. But we also have the original generator in here, which was needed back in the day, and subsequently installed the tech generator. Well hidden in the castle to make sure that no accidental harm can come to it. But moving back up to the main floor, we'll now go to the greenhouse. You can see here we have the S Plus mod active, and we have the glass walls with a lot of the seamless borders. So if we sit on this couch here, we have quite a view of the valley. We can sit here and watch all the ongoings, and back before we could hide the pipes, you can see the pipes go down quite some way. But we have a wonderful view of the snow-capped peaks. We have a little bit of view, not quite here, but in other parts of the castle, of all of this. It's quite a nice place. And right above us, we have the landing pad, which you can also see out into. And some nice citronal plants, as well as the storage for the fertilizer. Moving back into the main area, we can come up to the grand staircase. A nice little bit of decor and a couple flags and some wall art. We come into the main crafting area. Now this is quite a large space. You can see we spent an extraordinary amount of time here, but since we mentioned the landing pad, we have the landing pad right here, and this is the place where all of our flyers can come into and out of directly. So if you have an RG carrying an Anki or Doed or something, you can come in right over here and offload your supplies nice and close to the landing pad. You can see we have some air defense turrets in case of accidental dragons, which may or may not have happened. We have all the usual staples here. We have, our fabricators, we have our chemistry benches, cooking grills, cooking pots, as well as a whole bunch of air conditioners just to keep the temperature down. We have our smithies, and we have our general food storage, and we turn these turrets into these nice little staircases, but we also turn this into a locker and sort of blueprint area. So you can see here we have clothing, saddles, miscellaneous, tools, armor, equipment, weapons, and ammo, all with quick access, not too far from the landing pad should we need to grab an RG and go. We have all of our quick access dinos. These are mostly our utility dinos, so things like our RGs or Doeds or Ankis, those kinds of things. And through the rest of here we have our grinder, we have our storage and garbage disposal. We have 2 industrial grills, a bunch of ACs to keep this place cold, because with the grills, the fire pots, and these things running, it gets very hot in here. We also have our jerky production line going on. We have our rather excessive refrigerator wall. You can see some of the electrical lines we have coming in out of the wall. We have all of our fruits, our vegetables, and all of our cooked and raw meats all stacked over here for quick access. You can see in here we have a couple of extra vaults here for spare building parts when we were constructing this thing, because we ended up mass producing a ridiculous amount of stone. Same thing with any wearables, trophies, and other just miscellaneous storage around here. And all 4 of the turrets, all 4 of the castle's walls have these staircases built into them. These nice spiral staircases on sort of a 2-ringed circle, if you will. In the rest of this area we have all of our resource storage, which is sorted one by one. And back on the live server, this took an obscene amount of time in order to farm all the materials and the metal for all these vaults, let alone all the cementing paste. But nonetheless, each one of the resources has a nice vault. You stack up a wild amount of resources in order to construct this and mass produce everything that we needed, including gunpowder, advanced ammo, all of our narcotics and everything. And back over here, these 2 forges we added in later after the fact, exclusively for gunpowder production. So one of these things is cranking out charcoal pretty much non-stop, and this one here is cranking out gunpowder. You can see over here we've got a couple with the pipes in as well, a couple beer production factories. And one of the sillier things that we've produced is this bathroom series in the middle of the stairwells. You can see here we have a nice little shower kind of thing going on here. But one of the more absurd things we did was this one-way toilet. If you open it up, we can see in, but you can't see out. But everyone can see what you're doing over here. Fun way of passing time when you're AFK. What if we move along to the other side? You can see once again some spare grinders, and once again we have our spiral staircase, and thanks to the S+ mod, we also have a teleporter, so we can go to the various parts of the castle or to the various other bases or farming locations. So from here, we'll go up to the next level, right above us, or at least this part of it anyway, which will be the breeding and mutating area. So going up the staircase once more, go into this large open space right here. You can see it has access to the roof above, which we'll see shortly. A bunch of tech troughs and meat troughs, and as well as the S+ mods for incubating all the the various eggs, as well as the wall of air conditioners to make sure those eggs make it to the point where they can be incubated. And a bunch of refrigerators for the young ones. And right here in this large space is where we would have all of our dinos parked. We would make sure we'd have all of our breed pairs set up in here, and they could safely go about producing a whole bunch of dinos to do all of our boss runs again and again. Or if we're aiming for mutations or mutated RGs, mutated Rexes, whatever we wanted, this would all be done in here. One of the things we added early on, before we got too big into the dino production, was this, which was the direct access to the roof, where if we wanted to fly in and out directly to the breeding area, we could do so. We also have our teleport right here, so once again we can check up on our little babies really quickly. In the original version, we also had sort of like airlock style doors with a little fence gate here just to make sure the young ones couldn't wander out. And moving on into the throne room of the castle, you can see we've added some mods in the recreation that didn't appear in the original, and some of the trophies. Nice set of wardrooms so you can have your parties, your bed for sleeping, as well as the throne room. And we have the chairs where we have all of our council meetings. We have the throne itself, so you can counsel over what you're going to do, over what kind of boss runs you're going to have, and some fancy decor just to make it look nice and pretty. Then moving up one level, we can go up to the roof. So we have some ammo chests for the turrets. This is after the fact recreation in S+. Auto refills the turret, but if you go out here, you can see how we've constructed the castle walls and all of the various outlines. And you can see up top is where we have our greenhouse. This is where we've produced all of our varying plants and made sure that we had what we need to. Nothing glamorous, but still quite effective. And same thing with the gate. Here it is here. A nice better look at it from out there. And in the original version of the castle on the live server, these ladders were installed on all of them so you could get up and out, but because it's a recreation, that was not necessary. And one of the things we added later on after we had farmed a whole bunch of the materials and produced way more walls than we needed was this little observatory. There's this nice little waiting room in here. So we have our upgraded toilet, we have our couches, we have some snacks on display, nice little sprinkled donuts. If we go up, we also have the specialized bedrooms with our up and down indicators. Going up, one of the things we wanted to do later on in the game was to enjoy the view, since we were spending so much time in these castles waiting for materials to produce or craft. We often spent quite a bit of time just waiting. And so at the top of this is a 360 by 180, I guess a little bit, because more than that because you can see down, dome of seamless glass walls, so you can enjoy the view from every direction. If we want to sit here and enjoy the view to the west, we can see the wall, the snow-capped peaks over there, and some of the waterfalls, as well as a little bit of the volcanic lands to the south. Or we can view the rugged lands in the bridge to the north. And we can see all the way over to the forested areas to the east. It's a wonderful area just to sit here and view and wait for all of your items to craft. From the outside, you can see what that looks like there. Have that nice glass dome. It looks out over all of this area here. It's quite the view. Once again, you can see that all of the towers serve as functional staircases, so we can go into here, walk down this nice area to these landing areas, and we can go into the throne room, or we can keep going down back to the industrial crafting area, and just like that. All the way back there, the airlock style doors. It's great when you're deforesting most of this area here with your reavers. Get a bit of a view of those staircases there. You can see how we've built it all in so it wraps around and follows the natural angle of this little jut out. You can see the castle is situated right on this rock over here. It's about as close as we can to this little bridge without going over the edge. Using as much space as we could occupy. See the little landing pad there, and the doors to the industrial area, the crafting workshop. And there we go. It's a simple castle, but it's one we took quite a bit of pride in building for the first time. And there you have it. It's our first attempt at a castle. Alright, well thanks for joining us, folks. And that was the castle tour.